Ivan, thank you so much for joining us at Game On Magazine. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, we are very excited to be speaking to you today. Ivan, let's start off. You've played, it's best to describe you as an amateur rugby player. You've played for various Colton Cup club teams in Pretoria. You've represented the Bulls at sevens level, both nationally and internationally. You've represented an international representative side. You've played for your university in Dubai, so you definitely are very well travelled. Let's start off with you played for UP Tuks and Pretoria Police in the Colton Cup and Community Cup for Pretoria Police. Am I correct?
Yes.
How would you describe club rugby in its present form in South Africa? Is it strong? And is the Community Cup and now what will be known as the Gold Cup doing anything to promote the game at club level?
Yeah, I think the Gold Cup and the Community Cup is a good stepping zone for the guys that's not making a varsity cup side for the universities, and from there the doors is always open. And the club rugby all over in South Africa, it's good, especially in Durban and in Cape Town. The club rugby is very competitive, and in Pretoria there's a couple of teams that always ends up in the semi-finals and the finals, but after that it's quite good.
Yeah. We've seen a case in point of how club rugby has started to produce talented rugby players again, like it did in the isolation years, with Garth April from Durban Belleville, who won the Community Cup last year. He's now getting his first start for the Sharks against the Highlanders, and he's really blown up on the last week. Do you think that more people will be discovered, more rugby players will be discovered through the Gold Cup, especially now with Zimbabwe and Namibia joining as well?
Yeah, I think so, because I think there's a lot of talented rugby players that don't get that opportunity for their universities or get the opportunity to play Craven Week in school form, and after that the only stepping stone there is to play club rugby to maybe reach their dream or their goal that they have in life, to maybe play rugby for a career.
You studied for a bit at the University of Pretoria, and you represented Tuks at both Colton Cup level and USASA. Outside of Varsity Cup, is university rugby as strong as they say it to be?
Well, in the USASA tournament, I don't think the competition is that tough, because the Varsity Cup teams and the USASA teams, it's not the same team, because in the Varsity Cup you get a lot of professional rugby players that are contracted at the Bulls or at a union, and then they don't get that opportunity to play for the university again afterwards, after the Varsity Cup, because then they need to start training for their own curriculum. So yeah, it's most of all the second team players that get that opportunity in the USASA tournaments.
Just on your own opinion, do you think more needs to be done to marry professional student rugby players and just the average Joe rugby player that's studying at Tuks or any other Varsity Cup team? Because that's exactly the thing. These guys, the whole point of Varsity Cup is that it allows platforms for guys who aren't professional rugby players to be seen. But especially at a university like the University of Pretoria, that entire team is professional rugby players who just happen to be studying, not students who just happen to be playing rugby.
Yeah.
Do you think more needs to be done?
Yes, I think so. There's a lot of talented rugby players all over the university, especially from the under-19s up until the first team in the Colton leagues. So yeah, if those guys can just get an opportunity at provincial level, or just train with them and get an opportunity to play, I think South Africa can go further in the Varsity Cup as well and get stronger year in and year out.
Your rugby CV is quite broad. You've played quite a bit, and you've played a lot of sevens. What is the sevens set up at a provincial level in South Africa? We all know how well the Blitzbokke do, but at a provincial level, what are your thoughts on sevens?
Yeah, and provincial level, it's not that well known yet. You've got a couple of tournaments, actually 2 tournaments during the year. Here at the top of South Africa, we've got the North Region Sevens tournament, and then you got your National Sevens tournament. And there's not a lot of support at the National Sevens tournament where all the unions get together and play against each other. So if we can promote that national tournament, I think we can see more talented sevens rugby players, specialized sevens rugby players all over South Africa.
All right, loyal listeners of Game On Magazine, you've heard it from Ivan himself. Let's get down to the National Sevens tournaments and the Provincial Sevens tournaments and start supporting our boys, because the road doesn't start with the Blitzbokke, it starts with the provincial players and ends with the Blitzbokke. So let's get out and support them. Ivan, you've also played overseas. You played in Dubai, you played in Ireland. Talk about your experiences playing overseas, especially in Ireland, where you were part of a club system. Is there any difference between provincial rugby in South Africa and club rugby in Ireland?
Yes, it's quite different. Let's say the club rugby in South Africa is much harder than the club rugby there, and but the lifestyle that side is much different than South Africa. Each and every day you need to go to training. It's cold, it's raining, so it's getting tough if you need to get up and go for a training session or a jog or whatever, if you're used to the Pretoria heat in the summer and the mild winters. But yeah, otherwise it's the same, and the rugby is nice.
How on the lighter side, how many days offhand did you have that was actually sunny and you could take your shirt off and walk outside without a shirt?
Well, I was actually lucky. I was on the west coast of Ireland, so it was more closer to the US. There, in my stay there in a season, I think, let's say a month and a half
That's not too bad.
of sunshine that I had. The rest of the time it was raining. So yeah.
Tell me, Ivan, how did this gig with Corinthians Rugby Football Club come about? How did you get it done?
Well, the coach that time was a coach from South Africa. He was coaching Marty's and the Bulls Super 15 team, I think in 2002 or 2000. His name was Phil Pretorius. He actually contacted one of the coaches here at Tix, and he needed a fly-off. And I was the choice fly-off, and they said they want to give me that opportunity to go over and go and play. And then I ended up playing wing fullback. So yeah, it was a nice opportunity for me to go over.
What do you think? What is your best memory of playing overseas across all? I mean, I see you were in Las Vegas earlier this year, and I mean that's always something that, especially a single male, would want to do, because it is the Sin City. You've been to Las Vegas, you've been to Dubai, you played in Ireland. You know, are these smaller, like the US and Dubai, are these smaller rugby nations starting to become major players?
Yeah, well, in the States, the guys are performing well. They're training hard. There's good rugby players there. If they can just get the skills and be more professional, I think the United States of America can be a threat in the upcoming World Cups. So yeah, they're doing good.
We've already seen it at sevens level with the USA beating the All Black Sevens quite a few times already this year. So they definitely are sleeping giants, and they just need to start playing more sports that the rest of the world play. Ivan, let's get to some serious talk now. You are an amateur rugby player. Let's get past that. But being an amateur sportsman in South Africa is very difficult, considering that you have to work as well. Do you have a day job, or are you still studying?
No, I've got a day job.
And what do you do?
I'm a site manager in the construction industry, so yeah.
Okay, and then that's pretty. Being in construction is very taxing on your body alone. Then you have to go to practice, and you have to play games for. The police sides in South Africa are notoriously known for being hard rugby players and a hard rugby team to play for and to play against. What does your training program look like for when you play for the Pretoria Police?
Well, I get up in the morning at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock I go to gym, train, 6 o'clock I'm out, go to work up until 5 o'clock. Then when I've got some spare time before training, I go to gym again, have a quick session again, 6 o'clock. In the evenings I'm on the pitch training with the police, and 8 o'clock we're done, we go home, and yeah, that's my day.
What we do for the love of sport. We're going to take a short break, just to introduce one of our advertisers. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. We are sitting with Ivan in Pretoria, just chatting about his rugby playing days. But there's something very special about Ivan. Last year in March, he was diagnosed with colon cancer. He got 10 centimeters of his colon removed and did 3 months of his 6 months chemotherapy before he told doctors that he's done. And what's very surprising is that he was diagnosed in March, and by June he was back playing rugby. And that's exactly why we're chatting to Ivan today. Ivan, you know, sport teaches you a lot, and you are a rugby player by trade. Did the fact that you are able to play sport help you in your recovery?
Yes, I think most definitely. Sports actually helps you a lot, be committed, and it's not always going your way, so you need to stand up. If you get knocked down to the ground, you stand up and you work harder to get back into the team. And if you're just confident that you can make it, or just sorry,
That's good.
So yeah, if you just believe in yourself, as you do on a rugby field or any sport field, you can overcome anything. So yeah.
Was there a fear that you would have to stop playing sport at any time?
Yes, the fear was there. It was very sad, because I asked the doctors, can't we move it out so I can just play rugby for another 3 months and then we can do the operations and stuff. But yeah, the doctors told me as well, gave me a 50-50 chance of surviving after 5 years. So the idea was still there to maybe play a couple of seasons, but at that stage I wasn't sure if I can get that opportunity to play again. So yeah.
You know, as courageous as you have been with your fight against cancer, there's always the people that support you, both in your rugby career and in devastating news like this. Who would you say within rugby and outside of rugby has been there for you? Who has supported you through both, through your rugby days and through your fighting cancer days?
I must say it's my family, my mom, my dad, my sister, my grandfather. So yeah, the support structure from home was the vital one for me, for making it in rugby, or supporting me through the rugby, and especially overcoming the colon cancer and the treatment.
Was it tough doing the treatment? Everybody says that when you do chemotherapy, when you get radiation, it's not a fun thing. You feel sick and you lose your hair. Luckily with you, your hair's still pretty much there. So, but what is it like for somebody? I mean, I've never had cancer. I've never experienced cancer in my family. Walk us through the fact when they told you, listen, you've got cancer. What happened? Well, how did you feel?
Well, at the stage when they told me in the hospital they had to remove the cancer, it didn't stick in my head. But a week after that, it started shrinking in and started getting tough for me. And when I started the chemo, it was just something else. You can't describe it, because when you get the chemo, you get sick. You can't eat. You don't want to do anything. You just want to lie down and stay in bed. So yeah, the chemotherapy is very tough on your body, and it's testing you mentally as well.
Yeah. Evan, what would you say to somebody who's suffering not only from cancer, any sort of debilitating disease? Would you consider, if it is obviously safe and healthy for them to do so, to continue to play sport?
Yes, if the doctors clear them and tell them, okay, yeah, it's possible to play again, then you must decide if you want to play sports again. If you want to play, work hard for that and work closely with your doctors as well. Don't go on and train and do any sports without your doctors clearing you and telling you, okay, it's safe to go and play. Otherwise, there can be some troubles. I don't know what troubles, but yeah.
Ivan, thank you so much for joining us at Game On Magazine. We wish you all the best with not only your rugby, but staying free from cancer. It's we take our hats off to somebody like you. You epitomize what South African sport is about and our fighting spirit. So thank you very much for spending some time with us at Game On Magazine.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.